Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with the Pricing Lady. Welcome back once again. I'm Janine, your hostess, and today I have as a guest with me Cécile Bastien-Remy. Hello, Cécile. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Janine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm really glad to have you here with us today. And I would like to also welcome those of you who are watching us live and or who are watching us after the fact. Thank you so much for watching. I work with small business owners to help them know what to charge their customers and how to close more deals. Today, we're going to talk about pricing with Cécile. Cécile, why don't you start by introducing yourself?
All right. Well, my name is Cécile Bastien-Remy. I am French, but I've been working in and around Zurich and even further, not only in Switzerland, but also in Europe. And I help executives to be more visible by honing their communication skills. So that's one part of my business. And the other part is I'm also a keynote speaker on one specific topic, on the topic of resilience, how to bounce forward or bounce back, depending on the definition you take.
Wow, fantastic. And I love what you call yourself, a public speaking Jedi. That's wonderful. That's really fantastic. So I'm really glad that you're here with me today. We met years ago, I believe, actually the first time, maybe even in Toastmasters. So yet we're both avid Toastmasters.
Degree. Yeah, we have a Toastmaster degree or background.
Exactly. And then we met again after that when you took a course, one of my pricing courses, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I've already told you, Janine, how precious that course was for setting up my business idea and everything. So yes, definitely.
Yeah, fantastic. I had forgotten about it, and then when we reconnected again recently, you reminded me of that, and I thought, yeah, that's right. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, so Cécile and I spoke about this a little bit recently. We wanted to talk about her biggest pricing learning. So why don't you share a bit about what it is that you learned about pricing over the years?
Well, first of all, when you start a business, pricing is going to define how much you earn and if you can make a living out of it. So the idea is that you're moving from a passion, from, let's say, a hobby, and make it your work. And this is a big, big stretch. It's like doing the spaghetti, it's really intellectually, emotionally, it's a big difference. And I think money is very emotional anyway. So for me, the biggest learning was I was really charging per hour, and I couldn't really take off and include my earning via the training or the public speaking mandate I had. It was not enough to actually make a living. So I needed to change something. And I was really lucky to meet a friend who introduced me to taking a completely different perspective. So she said, instead of thinking what you want to charge per hour, think about how would you like to earn? What do you need to make a living to call that my job, my work? So you take from that, so you take from the a revenue or a profit or whatever is more suitable for you. Personally, it was just a revenue. That's the number that made the most sense for me. And then working out backward in terms of, okay, if I want to charge that, I'm a one-woman show. So that means that I could break it down into that type of services, that type of package, and how many packages can I actually deliver and work that on. And of course, because you're a business and you're there to serve, you have to benchmark everything with your target clients, because otherwise it's just nothing is going to happen.
Right. So you're right. There's many different ways that people come at this. I would say for service-based businesses, they typically start with looking at competition. And I'm not a fan of that methodology for two reasons. One, because you assume that the competition's prices are right and you don't know. And two, it doesn't take into consideration volume. The other way, so product businesses tend to go from costs to price. And again, this usually, it takes out the whole understanding of the customer. And oftentimes, I say more often than not, people are either under or overpriced. Now, what's beautiful about the way that you're talking about is it actually combines the customer and what you're looking to achieve in your business. Now, no matter what kind of business you have, you want to consider the customer, and you want to consider what's right for your business, and you want to consider the competition, you want to consider your cost basis. All of those things are important. What happens is people usually tend to focus on one and leave the other things out of that process. But a very good way to get an idea of how much you could charge and how many customers you might need to have is to do what you did, and that's start by understanding how much revenue you want to earn your business to start with.
I mean, it's between the want and the need, you know. It's like, I mean, when you start up, there is a lot of offer for you to go on stage or deliver training for free. It's marketing, it's fine, and at the beginning you do need to do that to have the experience, to get the feedback, but eventually you cannot pay your bills, the phone bills or the school bills, you know, by accepting marketing for free. So eventually you need to be able to deliver and constantly deliver value. You need to bring value to your client, but you can only, oops, I think we have, okay, so go back, Jenny.
That's okay.
So, what I was saying was, if you take the main point of the pricing, I think, is all down to value, okay? So value in what you deliver and value to what you deliver to your client. But the value of yourself is like, you need also to value yourself, especially if you're a one man or one woman job, a shop. You know, you have to be able to live before you can deliver your service. All right. So having a little bit of constantly having all those parameters in view when you put together your pricing is very important. So for me, I started with that, and then very quickly it just fell through, and I was asking a lot of questions to do my target audience. Whenever I was delivering something for free because I wanted to test a piece of content or a training, I would spend like a minimum 15 minutes per client, per participant, asking them what worked, what didn't, what they would do differently, and also what kind of price they would be willing to pay. Because the, how do you call that? The psychological price is very important as well, especially in services.
Yes.
So the more value you give, the most likely you will be able to provide a price that reflects the quality, and that's also a confidence factor as well for the buyer, for the client.
Right. You mentioned a lot of really great things in there, and one of them is along the lines that I really believe that having the right price in your business is actually an act of self-care and an act of care for your clients as well. Yeah, so you can't be there, especially, excuse me, in service-based businesses. How much you charge determines how much you're going to have to work, right?
Yeah.
It's just, there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so many days and hours that you can spend working with clients face to face. And that means that if you charge a little bit more, you may be able to afford to have your customers in that way, yours, because they're more personalized service. Depends on who you're getting, of course, if that's something that they value or not.
I know, and it's all down to having a thorough research on your target audience. I cannot stress that more than anything. There was an exercise I had to do. I created a package for executive, and it took me a long time. So also, you know, in your price, you may want to think about all the hours that you spend, you know, crafting something specific for one specific target audience, and all the books as well. I mean, I don't know. I've got a book budget actually on my, you know, on my accounting because this is just getting anyway. Yes, so basically I remember I decided with whom I wanted to work with, and I basically planned out of 2 weeks interviewing one CEO per day for 30 minutes and understand the relationship and the risk and how they feel about public speaking. And out of interviewing them, I actually managed to make my product better and my offer more valuable. Yeah. So that's why you need to talk to your clients more than competition. Competition will always be there.
It'll always be there, and sometimes it's really important, and other times not so important. Yeah, the most important thing.
I completely ignore competition.
Yeah,
but that's but for me, it's just like I concentrate on giving and thinking very precisely what's my purpose and why I do what I do, because it's really to help others be more visible, more successful. And if they sign up for a Speak for Impact with Cécile, it means that it was matching more than somebody else. And I cannot be everyone else, because otherwise you become nothing to everybody.
Which brings up another really valid point, and that's that not every customer is a good fit. And a lot of times when we're fighting or struggling with pricing, it's because we're trying to force a price on a customer where the fit is not good for one reason or another. Maybe the price is right, or it may not right, or the value proposition may not be right. Either way, it's kind of a square peg in a round hole syndrome where the fit is not right. Yeah,
and that can cause a lot of it doesn't work, and that's fine. I think when you have to come from a place of confidence of the value you deliver, but also from a place of humility. Mm-hmm. You are not going to be a good fit for everyone.
Right.
And I think this is very important to be very cognizant and be very clear, but not discounting all the time either as well, because you need to be aware of where you need to play. And some people, they might be within your purpose. Absolutely, fit in perfectly well, but they might have some trouble with the value of the price tag of your service. So that's when you say, okay, for that condition, yes, I'm going to make an effort because it makes sense within my purpose, within the vision I have for my company and everything. But some other people, if it doesn't make sense, don't take it.
Right. Which is absolutely true. Sometimes the best thing we can do is say, no, thank you, and steer a customer in another direction as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Cécile, I'm curious, because you mentioned about having confidence in your prices. How do you think that you came to that point where you felt confident about the prices you were offering?
I think it's a combination of answers. The first one, it comes with experience and the feedback you receive from existing clients. So basically you deliver a training, I don't know, somewhere at Credit Suisse, UBS, and you receive the feedback and you just go, wow, I really managed to answer questions they had, and they left the training with answers to all their questions plus practice. So that works. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is a build up, of hearing something positive, or if it's something that is less positive, it's either something you can do something and really make an improvement. But if it's on your personality, oh, well, too bad. That's not something I'm not going to change.
Right.
So you have to be also very clear on what you deliver. And I always use, even within my confidence training, I actually use that canvas, being absolutely crystal clear on what you know, your skills, your passion, your values, and your purpose. And if you have that clarity canvas, you're invincible.
Right. I mean, those things are things that allow you to connect with the audience that is right for you, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just, and it's not negotiable.
Right.
It's not something, especially the values, they are non-negotiable. That's something that if it's an industry that's completely against what I think is right for the world, of course, I've got only my little, reference. I'm just a tiny little point in the universe, but that's how I comprehend the universe as well, and the world around me. So, but that also allows you to take the leap of faith. Okay, so it can be restrictive, but it can also help you to go for projects that seem a bit crazy for you. But if the value is right, if it contributes to the vision, if it taps into your passion and some knowledge you have now. Why not?
Why not? Right. So I hear also then the boundaries are very important as well. Understanding them for yourself and having them for yourself first, because then it's much more easier to have those boundaries when you're in front of customers as well.
Absolutely. And it's a very, confidence is a very interesting topic, especially in pricing, because when you are perceived as confident, people trust in your skills. Right. People trust you before you have started giving the service, and that's something. It's like a magic success star that really helps you.
Well, I think especially when it comes to service-based businesses, trust is kind of like the overarching element that has to be there. I was going to say pillar, but a pillar doesn't arch things. It's a thing that is kind of, it has to be there in its totality in order for someone to want or to feel inspired to work with you. They have to, at some level, trust that you can deliver whatever it is that they're looking for, or help them deliver it themselves.
How confident you are with your pricing. The trust relationship starts when the person in front of you is actually a prospect and you are a possible provider, and the trust already starts being built there. I'm totally convinced.
Yeah. I'm actually convinced it starts from the first moment there's an interaction. Whether or not you think they might be a client or not, even. Yeah. So I talk to people a lot about their verbal business card and how you introduce yourself to someone actually affects their perception of what it might be, what the value might be of working with you or using your products and services. So you kind of have to start from the very beginning in order to establish that value. You can do it later, but you're going to be, if you don't introduce yourself well from the start, then you're kind of behind the game and you have to catch up as the relationship develops.
And it's difficult.
Yeah.
Exactly. There is a talk from Mark Bowen, Bowen. I think it was a TEDx in Toronto. And the title of his speech is The Art of Being Inauthentic. And he talks about how making the first impression is done within the first 7 seconds. If you don't win then, it's so much harder. So as you mentioned, your verbal and even the body language, everything has to be positive from the start. Yeah. So you have to carry confidence not only on the price list, but on your shoulder all the time when you're out there.
Right. No, that's very true. I'll put a link to that book or to that TED Talk in the notes. In the
and it's a very entertaining TED Talk. It's a good Friday night TED Talk, I would say, or Monday morning, on how you want to change your mindset.
Yeah. So, Cecile, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the watchers, viewers about pricing and your journey on pricing?
As a summary, really, it's just you have to start somewhere. And even if it's not, you're going to lack clarity to start with, but trust yourself. Be confident in your ability to find the right price for the right product for the right audience. Because nothing is disconnected. Everything is intertwined. Being for product or service, I think you have to, it's like a chess game. You have to think and you have to take so many things into account, and you will fail perhaps. But when you get it wrong, think about what went wrong and make an analysis, and always spend a lot of time on the lessons learned, because as you mentioned, this is truly a journey, but it's a great one because you really understand that. Again, I'm only talking about from a service standpoint. I did put out one day a product that was 2 books I co-wrote with my friend Tanya Abesalo and other beautiful chapter managers, but it was not really something we wanted to do for profit or to live. So, but now it's really my main source of income. It's a journey that I welcome very much. And every client, now I'm just open. And then you realize, that certain clients, either per industry or per age or even gender. They have a different story, they have a different relationship behind the value they put to their own development as well. So that's very interesting. It's interesting. Go for it.
Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you for bringing that up as well. I always told people, and I still believe it's true, that pricing touches everything in your business and is touched by everything in your business. And a big part of understanding and doing pricing well in your business is understanding how the decisions that you make, what I'm offering, how I price it, what I do with discounting it, who I sell it to, all of those have an influence on those decisions you have an influence on how you can earn money in your business. And when you start to understand that, then you're actively doing pricing in your business. That relationship is very important.
Yeah, but okay. I like the way you describe actively pricing, because a price list is never set. You have, like, of course, you have a strong line, but actively pricing, it means that you need to be adaptable. And sometimes that will give you the opportunity to price up because you hear that the budget is such and such, and okay. But then on the other hand, it might be able to give you the opportunity to price lower in other circumstances that, again, match the value, your vision, your and back to clarity, back to the clarity canvas and why you do what you do.
Right. Well, super. Thank you. And thank you so much to those of you who have been joining us throughout. I can see that there are some of you on with us, so welcome. We are just about to wrap this up. So Cécile, where can people reach you if they'd like to find more out about you and what you do?
All right. So I've got a website. That's right. Thank you so much. Speakforimpact.net. And from there, you will be able to email me, to send me a message. Basically, if you're interested in training, be more visible, I'm happy to help. And there is also the keynote. If the people, especially, I've got an announcement actually to make, if I may.
And go ahead.
I've been selected to be a TEDx speaker at the TEDx Politecnico di Torino in Italy. That's going to be the 30th of November. And I'm going to deliver my speech, which is called Bounce Forward. It's about resilience. Okay. I've started to be a faculty teacher this year, and I've realized that the new generation, they are in great need of help with the process of resilience and facing duress. So this is going to be in front of students, but that's going to be eventually be a video. So if you think that the people you're dealing with may need to hear something inspiring, a little bit, butt kicking as well, you may consider me as a speaker.
Excellent. Yes. Oh, congratulations on that. That's wonderful. And I look forward to watching the video definitely when it comes out. Of course, if anybody has questions for Cécile, you can always pop them in the comments below, as well as go directly to her website and contact her there. So from my side, I'd like to let you know for the next few weeks, I will be traveling. I'm actually going to run an entrepreneurship, I have to be careful how I say that, boot camp in Sri Lanka in 2 weeks. And so next week I'll fly over there, and I'm really looking forward to this. It is on behalf of Startup Academy here in Basel and BookBridge, the BookBridge charity that I will be over in Sri Lanka running this entrepreneurship boot camp with a very lovely lady, Femke Krone, also here from Basel. So we'll be over there doing that. I'm hoping that we can bring some of these Pricing Lady events, these live shows, to you directly from Sri Lanka. So be sure to keep an eye out for that over the next week. Of course, if you have any questions about pricing, you know where to go to find me. Just go to www.thepricinglady.com. Until next time, I wish you all the best, and of course, enjoy pricing. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.